Yo, what is going on, guys? Apex the Entertainer here. Prepare to be ridiculously entertained as we talk about my boy Bronny Black. Absolutely ridiculous. I love Bronny, and I was told, what a travesty. I was told by Viper that he has Bronny Black out of his pool, which is ridiculous. I can't believe he would make such a choice. Bronny Black was actually my first epic hero. I think he's really, really strong. Same combo starters as you would normally expect with Gnomes. Again, we're just looking for early alchemists, and then we want to generate whatever we can from there. System lag. Well, that's enough of that. I'm sure that won't be a problem. And then combo enders are also the same. However, I do believe that one of these two games that you guys are going to see is playing Gnomes the other way, or what I call the old way. So that'll be fun because it's a good way for you guys to see if you are struggling with Gnomes and you don't feel like you understand the proper way to play them, or you're getting stuck with Gnomes that don't feel like they're doing anything for you. There are two ways to play Gnomes. The second is far more viable than the first, but it's definitely something worth taking a little look-see-poo at. Subtype, I put him as a generator. That being said, he's a pretty even split between a generator and a technician. Again, generators are good at generating other units of the same faction, which he certainly does, but he is maybe even more so a technician because you can discover keywords, which is worth noting. He can discover keywords including revive, which is a really big deal because there are a lot of keyword creating heroes that do not get revive, and historically speaking, heroes that can generate revive do quite a bit better. Obviously, Ostawa is one of the good examples about that. The benefit with her being that she can utilize her revive on neutral units, which of course Bronny can't do, but Bronny's got a lot of other perks, trust me. Being able to get a keyword every single turn of a like faction unit is absolutely ridiculous. And of course, with Gnomes being the strongest in the business right now, I think it's a great time for me to show you guys what you should be doing with Bronny if he is a hero that you have and you want to run some Gnome skis. All right, let's hop on into it. Okay, lots of other Bronnies. Interesting. Wonder why. Starting off with tier 1. He's okay at generating tempo. If I can try... See, I'm a little surprised already because kind of like Arabella, if you can get a Gnome on the board early, it's always a great idea. I must not have been too worried about it, or I wasn't assuming for sure that I would play Gnomes, which is a little silly. You should play Gnomes every time. I thought I made that pretty clear in my last video, Apex. I also might be considering ninjas. Although 2 units on the board, like I said, with Upgrade Wrench is helpful, so that might have been all I was thinking about, which is not a bad idea by any means. Helps a lot with tempo. Oh, well that nails that down, isn't it? Feeling like Arabella over here with a full, I almost said Gizmo, with a full board. So you notice there that obviously I'm making the choice of not needing to buy that right now. I've got another Gnome on the board. That was the wrong choice. Let's back that up real quick. No idea why I did that. You absolutely, unequivocally, for sure, take the T1 Gnome there. You're about to buff your frickin' modules, you doofus. So I'm leaving that on the board because, again, I want to get the most I possibly can out of Alchemists. I know we just had a Gnomes game that I showed you guys. That being said, I'm going to show you a lot of Gnomes at the end. The idea of what I'm doing here with Do As I Say, Not As I Do is to make sure that you guys can grind as much as possible in ranked. So I'm more focused on trying to make sure I can tackle showing you guys how to play specific heroes in case the heroes that you're seeing aren't from your hero pool. I am going to try to throw some rares in there as soon as possible because I know that some people are getting stuck with rares being the only option. Once again, I get another one. Absolutely ridiculous. I did not need to play that. I don't think I would have done that now. Just take, well, guess it doesn't really matter. Probably health. It's kind of interesting that I used it on that one. I guess there wasn't a great option for which one to put a module on. And already Gnomes are starting to take off. It sucks that I have the most buffed unit being a Link, but that's okay. Alright, and we're essentially guaranteed, so it's greed time for sure. I should be tearing up. I might choose not to. I might really want a discovery, but I would tear up and discover right now. Oh, yeah, old relics. These are not the relics I have anymore. Goggles. Man, I must have recorded this one a little while back. No reason to take that either. Wow, I play Gnomes so differently in the second game, I think. In this one, I already feel like I'm playing Gnomes worse than I did even in the last game we had. So this might have been very fresh to the change of Gnomes. I might have even played the old way on purpose. I might not have known about the quote-unquote new way, right? Because back in the day, it was all about multi-summon triggering rather than what we do now with just full stacking for end turn effects. All right, we're gonna tier on up. Throwing Firestar is good. I have that epic now, no big deal. I'm surely gonna try to go for a copy of, yeah. So I do like that relic a lot for getting a copy of a unit, because it's always nice for me to try to get extra copies of Alchemist as long as he's the first one to get a kill, which he sure is. Okay, now fill your board with Gnomes before you play that. I do not need to be so scared. I'd take a Discovery here. Well, depends on what my T5 is. Yeah, I like the Discovery. Oh my god, I am! I'm playing the old way on purpose! I'm playing it on purpose! Oh, gross! That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm gunning for Chaos. This is not how you play Gnomes now, but this, again, this is a cool way for you guys to see how we used to play Gnomes. And the Johnny Nitro. Alright, yeah, this is full-blown old way. Weird. Sell that top middle one. Well, actually, we want the summon. Yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, no, it was a terrible idea. I've got another video coming up soon. At this point, I was not properly using Assailant, which is insane. Also, I left that frozen. God, this is terrible. Assailant, that tier 3 ninja that lets you put something back in your hand. Dude, it's a crazy miss that I missed that I used to not do that every single time. I used to like randomly catch it for some reason, and now, I mean, you do that every time. Every time you have ninjas and gnomes together, it's the perfect time to force that combo and re-trigger your alchemists, which is crazy. Guys, if you have a golden alchemist and you can re-trigger it as many times as you want when you have an assailant, well, as many times as you want, assuming you have enough assailants, right? It's ridiculous. Oh yeah, I would have taken the T5 Discover. This is great. This is going to be a prime example of what not to do. So here's a what not to do video. Because when you have ninjas in, you should be forcing ninja discovery every time. You should be looking for assailant like nobody's business. And you should be keeping that golden alchemist on the board. Okay. Outmaneuver is not going to go well with the type of gnomes that I'm trying to play right now. He goes well, of course, with new gnomes. If you guys haven't seen my last video on gnomes, you'd be well aware. Or if you have, I should say. Wow, look at this. Running the Nitro. That's wild. Oh, I guess outmaneuver. What am I talking about? Outmaneuver works great. Outmaneuver works great because he triggers the Nitro. I don't know what I was thinking. It's been so long since I played in such a silly way with gnomes. Probably just take the moguls, grab the gold. I mean, we want Funacycle pretty bad, but, you know, I don't know. I know everybody loves that, the resummon. Horrible choice. Okay, finally I make a good call on something. Yeah, the resummon was very silly. I mean, I get it because of the way that I'm trying to play it, but it's just nowhere near as strong as my other options were. Wow, dude. It's like actually working. That's crazy. I mean, it's not going to be anywhere near the kind of stats that you get by playing the new way, but hey, there's our bot sitter. In my opinion, not a card you ever really play as much anymore. You can still use him as a holdover, but he shouldn't be on your long-term board for gnomes. Big Brother. Big Brother sucks with the way that I'm playing. He's only stats in the moment. Why am I looking at the... Oh, Omega Watts does trigger Nitro. Wow, this is weird. This is weird to look back at the way we used to play gnomes. There's another Nitro. Wow. I can't believe I didn't play the Assailant. I cannot stress enough, guys. We're going to pause it. Look me in the eyes. You have got to save your Golden Alchemist and buy every Assailant you can, always, until way in the late game with Gnomes. It is such a ridiculous combo. You guys will see some crazy, crazy games involving that combination. It's a huge, huge stat buff and something you should never, ever miss. If there's anything you take from this video for doing what I say and not as I frickin' did, it's that. All right, back to the video. Golden Nitro. Throw that other one out. We just want to keep our outmaneuver and our chaos alive. Again, I do think this is a good thing for you guys to see. I do still, every once in a blue moon, summoning random link units is great. I do still do this every once in a blue moon. It's not terrible, don't get me wrong. It's just nothing compared to what you can do now with gnomes. But it's super viable if you just get completely horrendously stuck and you can't find your Funacycles and you can't find your big brothers, then it's still an option. We should get pretty good stat gains here. It was fun, I gotta say. It was a really good time. This feels, in my opinion, actually a lot more fun than the new way to play gnomes. Yeah, wow. And resummoning the links is huge. I'm wondering if I didn't leave enough space to trigger my summon link modules. That might be something worth noting. Make sure that you have the space to summon those link modules. Wow. That's pretty wild, actually. I did not expect to see us win that fight. What lobby? Oh, this was bad. I was at 11,000 points? What a loser. Just kidding. I'm joking. Whatever points you're at is exactly where you should be, okay? I'm proud of you regardless. I mean, you're watching this video. That's enough to say that you're doing the right thing. You kidding me? With taunt, that's fine. Oh, God, take it. I just know for a fact I didn't properly use it back at this time. Take the Discover the Ninja, please. All right, we do have quite the setup for Nitro, though. Quite the setup indeed. Yeah, making sure that that cleave is closer to the front is very important. Now, I will say, if you're going to play this way, one of the things that I used to underutilize that now, if I do play this way with gnomes, I always make sure to try to do, is trying to taunt your bot sitters and then put them in the back. That way, when they die, they summon the links in the back so that the links don't attack first and waste essentially the barrier you get from link, right? Because we could be hitting with our 500 stat units and the links in the back tank them instead of the links attacking and wasting their stats. We're making some pretty big old boys, dude. Wow, it's really funny to see this work. Like, this is not a bad board. I mean, granted, at this point in the game, in top 3, I'd probably have a big brother at like 2 to 3k already. Wow, this is perfect. We're getting all of our triggers and we're still going to win. That's like the absolute goal. It's already... What is this lobby? This is not the kind of lobbies I'm dealing with anymore. I don't know how the game's already almost over. This has got to be a really short game. It's fine. Doesn't really matter with the way that I'm playing now. Another outmaneuver is good, though. We need to... Really, we want to... I mean... Damn, we don't really want to golden anything. Kind of have the setup. This is definitely a board that favors multiple copies of plain units rather than golden units. Because you want the re-triggers as many times as possible. Because again, Nitro is an example of somebody that prefers quantity over quality. You want to hit him with as many individual buffs as you can to get as much from him as you can. Again, the only thing I'm really noticing outside of the fact that I butchered the assailant play is that I haven't focused on trying to taunt the bot sitters, which if you play this way is very important now. Getting those triggered links to be utilized for your actually strong units rather than just having, you know, 200 stat units smack them in the face is not as good. Like you can see, right? We just tanked that with 1,000. If you guys don't understand the concept behind Link, right? It's like a built-in barrier, and we're wasting it on 200 stat units rather than 1,000 stat units. Look at these guys. Speaking of 1,000 stats, dude. Goodness. Yeah, once again, a board that when I initially looked at where we sat in the beginning, you wouldn't think you wouldn't think we would win with it, but little did I know, ye of little faith. All right, well, we've quite clearly taken the dub. I did have one thing I wanted to mention as we're just destroying. Don't take the golden bot sitter. Don't do it. I might want to do it. Well, I would have another outmaneuver, so I take that back. I should have taken the golden bot sitter, and I probably thought exactly like I did just now. Because again, I really like having that multi-plane copy strategy, but because I would have had another plane copy of outmaneuver, I actually did myself a disservice there. What I was going to say is that my boy Drendis, one of my favorite people ever, by the way, he sent me a big message about some of the things that he noticed on my last game. Many of those things I have since changed in my playstyle because specifically of these videos, which, by the way, you guys are hyping me up for the new layout and template or whatever you want to call it for my videos. So thank you so much for all the support. It means a lot, and I'm having so much fun, and I'm learning so much with you guys as I go. It is absolutely making me a better player, and I hope it's doing the same for you. That being said, one of the things he mentioned is when you're destroying a lobby, not wasting the last few, or excuse me, you know, if you especially if you're playing Gnomes, by the end of a game you could have 50 gold turns, and if you already know you're crushing it, just make sure you're not wasting your time. If you really are trying to grind ranked, you may want to just skip through the final turns. You can even just end turn with full gold, right? That's only when you absolutely unequivocally know that you're way ahead. But it is something that I do. Take the golden bot sitter, please. Silly guy. It is something that I do on my own. Take the golden chaos, swap it out. It's fine. It is something that I do on my own. It's something I recommend for you guys if you're trying to grind ranked and you find that you're doing really well because you've been watching my videos and learning so quickly and efficiently that you feel like you're just grinding through the rank that you're at currently. It makes a big difference long term in your total MMR gain. That being said, of course, when I know that I'm going to be showing you guys a video as I'm recording something, I'm purposefully not doing that. I want you guys to see the game all the way through. That's not very fun for content. Complete waste. I'm mind blown at how bad I've been at this game in Grandmasters. It's really funny to me, the little mistakes that I'm seeing that I'm starting to really catch now. It's fine. Game's over anyway. It's no big deal. That was such a butchered turn. I was definitely rushing at this point. And now we finally have a Funacycle, which, by the way, Funacycle is an extremely important part of this build. Again, if you guys haven't seen this build, it is really fun to watch because once it gets going, you just have so many summons. Why am I positioning Nitro like that? Oh, because I'm going to position him back afterwards. I just was worried that that's where I was leaving him, but it was just placement for the Funacycle. So what's going to happen now, if all goes well, because I don't have any linked units on the board, is my bot sitters will die first, and then every time they summon and Chaos hits them with a golden module, my Funacycle then gets that golden module, which triggers 2 procs of added modules for the outmaneuver, which buffs my Nitro twice, which buffs everything else twice. So it is really fun when it works. And we've got that Chaos at 2,800 stats. This is pretty decent. Pretty decent indeed. Oh, that's nice. We're going to get another Link summon. Yeah, we'll get that Chaos over 3k. And it's worth noting, right, I haven't even talked about the fact that I've got the benefits of being Bronny. So we have a 3k unit at as a cleave, right? Which you can't naturally get cleaves on Gnomes just from modules. They don't have a cleave module. So again, Bronny is massive in certain circumstances. On to the next one. I believe this one is played in the way that it's supposed to be played. I don't know if I was using the Assailant play. Well, I didn't even see if ninjas were in now that I think about it. It doesn't look like it. Case like this, I'd probably just use my ability right from the front. I don't see anything that screams tempo. Nice. Okay, yep, grab that. So we have 2 on the board for our T2 relic. Again, anytime I can get a token on the board. That might not apply in your guys' circumstance if you don't have that relic. Go ahead and just play that down there. I assume I was multitasking. How much time are we going to give this guy? There he is. And then the next one goes down. There it is. And then we hit the fight button. Look at him. He's on top of it. A little laggy. Okay, so not a dub on the first one, but that's not the end of the world. Go to tier 2, take the Gnome Relic. I wouldn't take Pauldrons. Yeah. See, if I'd won the last one, I'd take Pauldrons. I thought I might do that. Oh, I really wanted to discover, I guess. That was fine. That was fine. Oh, actually, I take that back. That was actually really good. This is something I do regularly with Bronny that I wasn't connecting the dots on because I'm Bronny, right? I do like to sell out and make sure that I can discover as much as I can while I'm on tier 2 without hindering my tiering up process, because discovering alchemists, obviously, is insane, like we saw in the last game. Yeah, Bronny's great, man. I'm really surprised that some people, Viper, aren't big fans of Bronny. I think he's really strong. Not the strongest by any means, right? I'm trying to kind of do this in an order of hero viability, so to speak, in the current meta. That being said, there are a few that I think I've already kind of, that are coming out of order, like Drendis is, speaking of Drendis, Drendis as a hero is incredibly strong, and somebody you'll see a video for soon. I won't waste your time explaining why it's not up yet, but you will see one soon. I might have taken that shapeshifter. I'm considering if I'd freeze that board, and I'm doing the same right now because I don't know if I would. Probably not. I'd probably just hope that I rolled Alchemist. What are we doing? Am I gonna have to play this at like 1.5 speed? There we go. Multi-strike on the cleave is fine. Once again, we've got an early cleave. People are positioning properly around cleave though, like I always should and do not. Okay, double triple. It is nice tripling her. Hey, there's the Alchemist. We get the 2 discoveries. I'd probably play him now. Yeah, good call. We just can't risk that we would discover Gnomes. It's probably the right call to play both those right now, as much as I don't like the fact that we're only getting tier 3s, just because, hey, there's a Dory. Just because we need tempo right now. I don't believe we were guaranteed, if I remember correctly. I think this is the final turn of Trophy Face, but I could be wrong. Sell your Dory. It's another thing Drendis mentioned that I think is very worth mentioning. I go back and forth on the viability of this, but just don't forget that you're working on a pool, right? So in some cases, particularly when you look at this board right now, I'm reducing the chances of rolling Alchemist or Dory or that other T2 augment generator that I have on the board, which could be very detrimental if you're not careful. Oh, okay. Now we are guaranteed, so I better greed. And because we still had one more round left, I take it back. I should not have played either of those golden units. I should have dropped the Alchemist, bought the gold, and then just ate the next turn. Tier up, sell your Dory, and then discover. Alright, you know what? We might be speeding this up. Hold, please. Oh, I can only go to 2 times speed. And we're back. I'm just going to fast forward like that when we get stuck there. Great relic. Obviously, the screwdriver is always insane. Yep. Sell the Dory. Okay. Another Alchemist is great. Now, at this point, I'm okay with holding the 2 Alchemists, but Dory should have been sold forever ago. There's no reason for me to reduce the pool availability of Dory. Again, I said that I was hesitant to know how viable or not viable this was, because I do think in some cases it does make sense to try to hold for golds or whatever it may be. Obviously, in the case of Golden Alchemist, if ninjas are in particularly because of Assailant, then that really matters. But of course, ninjas aren't in on this game. But I'm not against going for a single golden alchemist in the beginning and then selling it back out. I don't know. I'm still torn. First turn of Hearts phase. I lost the last one. I'd probably sell the Dory and take a Discover, but I have a strong feeling I'm just never going to sell the Dory at this point. Alright, once again, it looks like we need to fast forward. Oh. I did sell the Dory. R&D is nice. I had a bad habit in the beginning of trying to stall on playing my modules, or my augments, previously, which if you're at tier 3, I'm okay with you doing that tier 1 and 2. If you're at tier 3, you should be playing your modules every single time, because you might get the gold module, and the gold module obviously is massive. The most important module in the game, actually. Barrier? Yeah, apparently I'm keeping that around just because it has the cleave. Very debatable, probably not the right call. You can discover more stuff with cleave. Oh, very nice. Yeah, I was going to say she's the one to sell. Nice. Okay, we have a pretty solid setup right now. It's time to get rid of these alchemists. You know, you can see if you can get a golden one with a lucky pull early, but at this point, we're just completely wasting our pool by having 2 alchemists out. It's drastically reducing our chances of finding an alchemist. This has been an enlightening one, if I do say so myself. Thank you for participating and engaging and viewing my class. My TED Talk. Sell the alchemist, you idiot. Sorry, that was rude. No self-deprecation here at Apex and Sons and Co's and Inc. I don't have any sons. Multi-strike is whatever right now. We don't have anything good enough to plant it on. Well, I need to take the gold because I didn't leave a space open. I totally disagree with that play, by the way. When you have dwarves in, whatever it's called, something call, I can't remember, but that tier 5, that hammer, insanely strong relic. Why would I take chaos? Horrendous call. Got the Funacycle, sell the Fukin. Yeah, I was hanging on for dear life trying to get a gold alchemist. Awful play, by the way. Really big deal. Why am I keeping one on the board, dude? I guess I just want to... Thank God. Wow. A little late for this kind of commitment, but I like the energy. Multi-strike. Yep. We do have the double playing copies on the outmaneuvers, so we're getting double the stats from that, which is nice. We could use a big brother. More Funacycles, more alchemists, which we surely could have had more alchemists already at this point had we not made silly plays. Yeah, this game was a little while ago too. I haven't been playing as much Bronny lately, to be fair. I think I've made it pretty clear, but if you haven't gathered or you haven't seen the other videos, which of course you should see those, you should be playing Arabella and the Golden Sentinel every single chance you get right now. So if those aren't in your pool, I still want you to see stuff like this. Yep, I like that. Bit more of a long-term play than Dory. I didn't see how many rounds are left in the game, but I'm sure it was the right call. Here's another alchemist, speak of the devil. I don't really have anything I love the idea of selling, but I'll be honest with you, if I choose not to buy that right now, I think that's a pretty major mistake. Probably sell the T4 augment generator. Man, that's so tough though. Maybe one of the outmaneuvers, since we don't have... Yeah, I take it back. Since I don't have Big Brother, I think selling one of the outmaneuvers is the better call. I don't think that's what I'm going to do. Looks like I'm just not going to grab it right now. Again, that's definitely a mistake. Because then I'm banking on finding a triple next turn, which you should never really do when you're at a point like this where you're not super confident in tempo. Yeah, I'm taking a hint there that I don't need to take. I might have even been able to tie that if I had played the Alchemist. All right. I try to always take my discovery first and foremost. That's probably what I'm going to do. This guy was heavily distracted. There we go. There's the discovery. Grab the augment. I'm gold searching. Yeah, see, now I have to sell anyway. So basically, I just set myself 2 gold behind for no reason. So good example of what not to do, once again. Sell the T4. I mean, either of the T4s is fine. We do have that T5 augment generator, so I was going to say that probably makes more sense. But we're probably going to need to sell 1 outmaneuver as well, from what it looks like. I'm sitting there deciding if I want to sell 1 outmaneuver. Yeah, wrong call. You need the augment generation. You don't have the big brother. I had a big tendency to do this in the past. I really liked the duplicate playing out maneuver thing for a long time, and I've devoted way too much to it. I've lost games I shouldn't have lost because of that. Yeah, overwhelm's the right call. We need a big brother pretty bad, especially with me committing to the double outmaneuver play. Barrier, whoo, getting all of the keywords, baby. Take the stats. Well, I'll tell you, it looks like in the case of both of these games, because of, in my opinion, pretty silly mistakes, whether I win the lobbies or not, I'm nowhere near the stats I could be getting. Between the missed assailant plays, between the alchemist sitting in my hand, silly things like wasted gold, just a lot of minor, small decisions, which I shouldn't call them minor, just a lot of small decisions that have major impact on my late game as we develop. But this is exactly what this is about. This is what the series is for, folks. We're here so that you can do as I say, and of course not as I do. Still sitting in what I assume is very low tier lobbies. We're at 12,600 in this game, 12,600. I think right now I'm sitting at like 15,800 or something, so this was a while ago. Dory? I don't know what there is to think about there. It's clearly Dory that was the right call. Another Dory. Sell out the shitty outmaneuver, the one that doesn't have any of the keywords. Oh, actually, sorry, I clicked it myself for no reason. You do want to obviously play the modules first that you have in hand while you have the 2 outmaneuvers out for the most stats, but then he should, by he I mean me, should sell that second outmaneuver and get those Dories on the board. Yeah, I'm smacking the fight button. Silly goose, the silliest of geese. As I say often, I'm going to win this game, but I don't think I deserve it on this one. This is also a prime example of how overpowered gnomes are. I played both of these games, in my opinion, pretty blatantly wrong. Isn't it the worst when you get stuck with that as your only unit left? Pretty blatantly wrong, and still I'm having a substantially good game. I don't like the way that was phrased, but so it goes. Terrible options. Really need to get those damn Dories out of me hand, mate. I would have taken that multi-strike now, looking back. Multi-strike. That one on the right doesn't have multi-strike. There we go. I just don't understand why I'm sitting on these Dories. There's just no reason to be doing that. Yeah, what a silly... Again, I cannot stress enough. Get your modules out right away if you're T3 or above. We could be getting so much extra gold that I might just be wasting. I cannot believe how high I am in this game. Now, granted, with the lobbies I'm in now, stats like this on Gnomes in top 3, never. I would be gone. There's the big brother, finally. Okay. So since I have the big brother, I knew it. I was going to say I'm going to be an idiot and sell my other augment generation. God. Now, to be fair, it is the end-ish of the game. So it's not a bad call to it's not a bad call in your final rounds to start getting rid of some augment generation, but in this circumstance, it's not late enough for us to make that decision. Or for that to be the right call, I should say. No idea why I'm keeping Dory on the board. Again, I could be finding more Dories had I sold her first. And that's a mistake I still make sometimes. Okay, so move the big brother into the top left space, start hitting him with keywords. Finally, we have a golden outmaneuver, so I can quit it with wasting a space on the board for a second outmaneuver. Which again, at this point now, it is double procking on the big brother, so now it makes a lot more sense. What am I doing? Always take the gold, unless it's the final turn. Always, always, always take the gold. Take the gold. Thank God. Man, I'm just thinking about how many stats we lost because we held those two alchemists for as long as we did. Barrier. Now, if I do something silly, like not freezing that outmaneuver, okay, thank God. I was going to say, I can't commit that much to 2 plain copies. That would just be silly. Good placement. Racking up the stats on a BB. This is iffy. No, it's not iffy. What am I talking about? Link is such a busted mechanic, dude. So strong. So crazy to see how much Gnomes are demolishing the meta right now. Not even slightly close to second place. I cannot believe I had them tied for first. I have a very underdog mentality when it comes to this game. I sometimes can't avoid... well, I sometimes will refuse to accept the obvious in games like this, meaning that when things are just blatantly better, sometimes I'm like, oh no, but there might be an angle to do something with this other thing. No, they're just so much better than everything else. Grab the T1. I have a feeling I'll do something silly like grab the bot sitter. You always take that T1. Yep. That was the worst possible option, by the way. I'm assuming I took it because it has cleave, which again, getting cleave is great, right? But I don't have enough modules to like make it crazy or anything. What I should have done is taken the T1, like I said, and then I would have gotten an extra proc on an augment for my Funacycle, which would then trigger all the other stuff, right? My outmaneuver, my BB, so on and so forth. Putting him first. So I'm probably putting that cleave up front, yep, so that I have a chance to just wipe out some other links or some scam or something like that. Not a bad call. My recording is about to end, so I have a feeling I'll probably stop it here in a second. We might miss this fight. Looks like it's not going to go well, spoiler alert. Oh, baby. Easy, dude. Calculated. Did I already transition into the... No. I don't know when my recording ends, but if I know me, it ends abruptly. So prepare to miss one of these fights. Go away. There we go. Dory. Grab the Dory. Cycle, cycle, cycle. Good. We do have an extra round left, so... bot sitter was the wrong call. With an extra round left, I would still take the extra augment that Barnaby would have given me. Because of where bot sitter's positioned, I'm hoping that I'll swap his placement between himself and Deadly Joke. Because we're going to tank the first hit. So if he attacks because of the link, he's not going to die first. So we want to put the Deadly Joke first, or even... one of the other things like Funacycle or something like that. Yeah, poor positioning. That's okay, though. It's not going to be the end of the world. It's just not going to proc when we want it to. It's a pretty decent elf build. And this is not a very impressive gnome build. So it's really surprising to see this happen. Alright, take the Dubsky there. Grab the other BB. Another outmaneuver is fine. You know, the more I think about it, that was even iffy grabbing the big brother with the final turn. I mean, I'd have to triple him right now for him to have any use. I really should have probably just went and scouted for more augments. Just sell the deadly... Well, not the deadly joke. Sell the bot sitter. I'm probably going to sell the deadly joke. What the hell did I just sell? Really silly choice. I'm assuming I sold the link so I can make sure to trigger the bot sitter, but don't get rid of a link at this point in the game. And then I got... Dude, what am I doing? What? Horrendous, horrendous play. Wow. I just made my board substantially worse. 0 links on the board whatsoever now, depending on if I hit link modules or not. I'm lost for words at how bad that play was. So if anything, or if nothing else, I'm showing you guys that you can play bad with Bronny Black and still win lobbies, huh? If that doesn't vouch for him, I don't know what will. Okay. It's crazy how much gnomes just have anti-scam built in compared to something even like dwarves, right? Dwarves get keywords, but having the multi-summons with the links, just crazy. Alrighty, folks. Well, that's where we ended up at, all said and done. This was most definitely enlightening for both of us, I hope. Actually, really, really good. This really, again, the point of do as I say, not as I do, well, it's fun to show you guys really great games, and it's going to continue to happen, because most of them are wins, because I just win so much. The point is for us to find stuff like this, you know what I mean? So, again, I made some major points. I'm not going to rehash them, because I know I beat a dead horse with some of this stuff, and I get really repetitive at the end with my outro. But Bronny Black, incredible. Anything that can generate keywords, and in this case, precisely with your most common faction, is very strong. If you haven't tried him out, if you felt like he's weak, I recommend giving him another go, and hopefully this will help you really outperform your opponents when it comes to gnomes with Bronny Black. Thanks for being here. Keep an eye out for the next one, ASAP Rocky. I appreciate you as always.